You are a parent doing everything right, and somehow it still doesn't feel like enough. You read the articles, you follow the routines, you show up every single day. And yet there's this quiet question you carry around, the kind you don't really say out loud. Am I doing enough? Is my baby getting what they need? Is something slipping by without me noticing? That feeling isn't anxiety. It's not overthinking. It's actually something really important, and by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what it means and what to do about it. Because the truth is, there are 5 habits that most parents develop completely by accident. Habits that feel helpful, that look right from the outside, and they work against your baby's development in ways that take months to show up. Not because you're doing anything wrong, because nobody told you what researchers have been finding for the past 2 decades about how infant brains actually learn to grow. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The first thing worth understanding is that your baby's brain is doing something right now that will never happen again at this speed. In the first 3 years of life, the human brain forms roughly 1 million new neural connections per second. 1 million. Per second. That's not a metaphor or a round number for effect. That's what neuroscientists at Harvard Center on the Developing Child have been documenting since the early 2000s. The pace of development during this window is unlike anything that comes after it, which means the habits that shape your baby's environment during this time matter more than they will at any other point in their life. None of what you're about to hear is a criticism of how you're parenting. Every single habit on this list comes from a place of love, from wanting to help, from trying to do right by your child. That's exactly why it's worth paying attention. Keep watching, because the habit that surprises most parents is the 4th one, and it's the one that almost nobody suspects. Most parents believe that a calm, quiet environment is the best environment for a baby. It makes sense on the surface. Babies startle easily. They get overstimulated. You've been told to keep things gentle, soft, soothing. So you lower your voice. You turn down the noise. You create a calm bubble around your child. And that instinct comes from the right place. But researchers at the University of Washington's Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences found something that challenges this completely. What they discovered is that babies don't just hear language. They need to experience the full social and emotional context of language to actually process it at a developmental level. When language is muted, flattened, or stripped of its natural emotional variation, the brain receives less of the signal it needs to build the neural architecture for communication. Silence isn't neutral. It's actually a kind of absence. This is the first habit, keeping things too quiet for too long. It's not about being loud or overstimulating. It's about what your voice, with all its natural variation, does for your baby's brain. Talking to your baby while you fold laundry, narrating what you're doing while you cook, describing the walk you're taking together. These aren't just sweet moments. They're building material. The second habit follows directly from this. It's responding too quickly. Before you feel defensive about this one, hear the whole thing, because the intention behind it is completely valid. When a baby fusses or reaches or makes a sound, most parents respond immediately. That's attunement. That's connection. That's good. But there's a difference between responding and preemptively removing every pause before the baby has a chance to do anything. A 2019 study from the University of Cambridge found that the micro moments when a baby is working towards something, looking at an object just out of reach, trying to make a sound again after it went unacknowledged, are some of the most productive moments for cognitive development. The brain is doing something in those seconds. When we fill every gap before it has a chance to form, we don't give that process room to run. This doesn't mean making your baby wait or ignoring their needs. It means leaving a little space, a breath, a pause, letting them try before you solve it for them. The third habit is something almost every parent does, and almost nobody questions. Screen time used as connection time. Not just parking your baby in front of a screen alone. Most parents know to limit that. But holding your baby while you watch something, or using a screen as a shared experience. It feels like togetherness. It has the physical warmth of holding and proximity. But a landmark study published in JAMA Pediatrics in 2017, tracking over 800 families, found that screen time, even when shared, significantly reduced the frequency of what researchers call contingent interactions. That's the back and forth, the response and reply, the live human exchange that drives language and social brain development. The screen captures adult attention in a way that interrupts the natural loop, even when parents don't realize it's happening. The fourth habit is the one. This is the one that surprises people most. It's overpraising effort instead of acknowledging the specific thing the baby just did. Praise feels like the right response to everything. When your baby does something, you say, "Good job," you clap, you celebrate. And enthusiasm is genuinely good. Warmth is good. But research from Emory University, published in 2020, looked at how the specificity of parental response affects infant learning behavior. What they found is that generic praise, "Yay, good job, you did it," activates a different response than specific acknowledgement. When a parent says something like, "You picked that up," or "You figured that out," the baby's brain is receiving information about the action itself, not just the emotional signal. Over time, generic praise builds a pattern where the reward is the praise, not the competence. Specific acknowledgement builds a different circuit, one where the activity itself becomes interesting. This isn't about changing your enthusiasm. It's about adding a few words of observation to the celebration that's already happening. The warmth stays. You just get more precise. The fifth habit is one that develops slowly and is very hard to see from inside it: structuring every moment. Parents today are extraordinary at creating enriching routines. Tummy time at this hour, sensory play at that hour, reading at bedtime, music in the morning. Structure is genuinely helpful. Predictability matters for infant development. But a study from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology found that unstructured time where nothing is being taught, nothing is being guided, and the baby is simply allowed to follow their own attention, produces distinct neural activity patterns associated with intrinsic motivation and self-directed learning. Too much structure, even enriching structure, can crowd out the space where a baby starts to discover what they find interesting on their own. That space matters. It's where something foundational gets built. This is also where you come in not as a teacher, but as a witness, sitting near your baby while they explore without agenda. Not directing, not narrating, not making it educational. Just being there while they do what they do. So here's what all 5 of these come back to. The quiet that was supposed to be soothing. The quick response that was supposed to be attentive. The screen that was supposed to be connection. The praise that was supposed to build confidence. The structure that was supposed to enrich. They all have the same shape. They come from love. They come from attention. They come from showing up. And they all work against development in ways that only become visible slowly over months, which is exactly why they're so hard to catch. You don't have to fix all 5 things today. You don't have to overhaul anything. What actually moves the needle is noticing one of these and making a small adjustment. Narrating your morning out loud. Pausing 1 second longer before you respond. Putting your phone down when you're holding your baby, even for 20 minutes. Saying, "You stacked those," instead of just "yay." Sitting on the floor and doing nothing while your baby explores. Small changes compound. That's not inspiration. That's neuroscience. The brain builds on what it receives consistently, not on what happens perfectly once. If this helped you see something you hadn't seen before, that's exactly what it was meant to do. If you know another parent who's doing everything right and still carrying that quiet question, share this with them. And if you want to keep getting content that treats parents like intelligent adults who deserve real information, subscribing takes 2 seconds, and it means you won't miss what comes next. You're already paying close attention. That's not a small thing. That's actually everything.